Ted Bass, teddybass.com. Fishing the shaky head today. Got a little one. Just swing him in. See, on that hook set, you get him right in the top of the mouth, just like that. Cut him right off of a little stump. Hey guys, Theo Kozarski here from tedbass.com. Today we're going to be learning about how to rig and fish a shaky head. So the first thing I wanted to go over was the different types of shaky heads. And they really come in a bunch of different types, but today we're going to focus on two. So the first one is the offset shaky head, which you rig just like your typical Texas style worm. And then the second has a spring. And let me zoom in for you for a second there. So with the hook with the spring, what you're going to want to do is take the worm and put it in the direct center of that spring and then twist. And what this is going to do is it's going to lock it on to that jig head. Next, you're going to take the hook and see where it would go into that worm and thread it directly through. And there are two things you want to make sure of. So the first is that the worm is perfectly straight. If you have it bent like this, you're not going to get as many hits. The second thing you want to make sure of is that the hook is still buried inside of that worm. So you don't want any of the hook exposed. And when the bass bites down, that hook will penetrate and you'll be able to set that hook straight back and go right through the top of that fish's mouth. Typically I like to fish these ball-headed types when I'm fishing a little bit heavier grass cover, and I like these cylindrical offset when there's a little bit more grass. These things tend not to hang up as much. Another thing to note is these jig heads come in different colors. I typically like to match them with the color worm that I'm fishing. I don't know if the fish like that, but it seems to give me a little bit more confidence. Next thing that we're going to talk about is the setup. So today I'm using a medium action spinning cast rod from E21 and a light spider cast, and this is an old school SC30. I'm pretty sure they're not even in production anymore, but it's a reel that I've had since I was little and that I really like. And it's spooled with 10-pound fluorocarbon line, and that's important because the fluoro is invisible underwater and it's dense, so it's going to sink, and as it sinks it's going to help that bait flutter, and a lot of times you're going to get hit on the way down or on the fall. You want a rod with a fast taper but with some backbone. So typically I'm fishing a medium or medium heavy. So when you set that hook, this backbone of the rod is going to be able to drive it into that fish's mouth. The way to work this is when you cast it out, and typically you're trying to target cover of some type. Give it a second or two to fall to the bottom, and then on a slack line, you're just going to shake it. And what that's going to do is that bait's going to be standing straight up, and the tip of the tail is just going to move. Is when to fish a shaky head. And the short answer is there's really never a bad time to fish a shaky head. if you can put up with it. The issue with fishing a shaky head is it's just boring. It's boring as all hell. Sometimes I'd rather not catch fish than fish slow, but it'll produce fish really any time of the year. The best times, I would say, to use this presentation is when conditions are tough. So post-spawn or the dead of summer when the water temperature is really high, or even the dead of winter when the water temperature is really low. It's going to catch your fish regardless of when you use it. Hey guys, thanks for watching. This is my first video. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and subscribe, and look forward to making some more of these in the future.